Hey everyone, so in today's vlog, we're going to talk about resentfulness. Now, I want to talk about this spiritual journey, like people that are on their way to awareness. And I just want to make very clear that we still have our own subconscious mind and our own bullshit to take care of. And the reason I say that is because I just went through a situation in my life with a few different people where I realized, and I just recently realized how fucking resentful I was towards them. Like how resentful. So what I did when I realized this through meditation contemplation, because I do a lot of self-inquiry work, I began to really look at the term resentful, the feelings behind what it means to be resentful, the people that were making me resentful, and at the end, like, why? What was I getting out of it? Why did I hold on to those people? What the fuck was I getting out of it? And you know what I was getting out of it? I was playing victim. I was playing victim. So let me tell you, let's get started. Now, resentfulness is any sort of pain that is caused by another person where you feel treated unjust or unfairly. Okay, so that's resentment. Now, in my situation, when these things were happening, and one of the people doing this to me was my own child. He's 17 years old. So it's very hard to get out of that situation. I can't leave him. He's my son, right? So I, with my son, actually began to realize how resentful I was starting to feel. So what happens is if you don't address it, that resentfulness, it begins to layer and layer and layer and layer. And often if you don't deal with it, you're gonna lash out. That's what I did. I freaking blacked out and lashed out, and I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be like that. So I have been really thinking about and contemplate, because that will never happen again. I don't make mistakes twice. I haven't in a very long time, and this one was big, and I will never do it again. So the contemplation and the term that came to me that was resentment, I started thinking, what are the feelings that I go through when these people were making me resentful? And a lot of the time, I was just dumbfounded. Like, so a lot of people that if you're in a situation where you become resentful, it's usually because that person is talking about a scenario, a situation, a story, and it's obviously their story. Often these people play victim. 90% of the time, they won't own up to shit and they play victim. And they are saying things to undermine you. But because you have relationships with them, you may not say anything back to them, but put it in your subconscious mind and be like, I'll deal with that later. You know, you don't deal with it right away. You may say, you know what, stop. Don't do that. And I went through this. I am the type to say, you know what, stop doing that. I know what you're doing. There's no need to throw me under the bus because of this. Like, I don't like the way you're making me feel. You need to stop. Now, yeah, I have the mouth to tell my truth, but the problem was when you're intertwined with people and in relationships, you wear rose-colored glasses and you see these people better than who they are or what they are. So if you're unable to walk away from the situation, like for example, let's tone it back into my son. I can't walk away from him. So when you're unable to walk away from those situations, if you don't communicate with these people, if they don't accept, because my child didn't accept me saying, stop doing that, Armand, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. I explained myself, but he's still a kid. He's still going to do those things that I tell him not to do, which creates this like cycle of conversation and communication it's a lot of work, which is okay with my son, but sometimes it's not okay with full-on adults who are grown, who are playing victim and complaining all the fucking time. So the best thing, what do? You just have to realize when you start layering the feelings of resentment. So for me, it's just dumbfounded, like, what the fuck are you thinking? Are you kidding me? And this is how I talk to this person too. So this person, my child as well, they knew my truth. But the cycle, they're just used to, they're asleep, right? And this is my ego a little bit too. Am I coming from the observer? Yeah. But am I coming from my ego as well? Yeah. So I'm probably coming from a space of 50-50 because there's a lot of lessons in this. So if you know that this person it's not like they're kind of acting and they're showing you they're going to do the actions, but are they really listening and hearing? Because they keep repeating the same stuff over and over, and they've done this for a really long time, the chances are they're not going to change. And I'm not here to make people change. I'm here to give examples to my child, but I'm not here to make people change. So what do you do in a situation like that? So the first thing you want to do is you want to do a deep dive into yourself. Resentfulness. For me, what I did was I always do a timeline, like, holy fuck, I'm resentful. Then I realized, because when I started thinking, okay, people that make me resentful create disgust in me. Sadness, anger, but then I carried this relationship on. Why did I do that? What was I getting out of it? And you know what I was getting out of it? Like I said in the beginning of the vlog, victimhood. I played victim. Here's how, when you're resentful of people, you do, in a way, play victim. And I was kind of shocked when I came to this realization of these experiences that I've been playing victim. I was shocked because I'm really good at not playing victim. I'm really honest with myself, but I completely played victim. And what I did in this situation was, the more resentful I got, the more, and I told these people, like, okay, this is not cool. Don't talk to me like that. I don't like this. But they kept doing it, and they kept doing it, and they kept doing it. So I became like, okay, they're not going to treat me fairly. They're mistreating me. I'm putting up with it. So now I'm here and they're here. And when you're here, what does that do? That's full on ego. That makes you the victim because you think you're better, because you're playing martyr. Isn't that so fucked up? So you keep putting up with these people because you think that they owe you something, which they don't, and they don't even understand the concept of owing anybody something when they're playing victim. But what you're doing is you're mirroring them. So you're not up here. You're actually right down here, face to face, victim on victim. That, my friends, is what resentment does. That is what that was my experience of resentment. And that was like, I was blown away this morning when I came to this realization. I was like, holy fuck, that person, my family, made me feel less than. I had to put up with it because I have to put up with it even as a mom, kind of being a martyr. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's my child, I know better, which I do, but I'm also playing victim and playing a power trip on him. So you've got to keep communicating and communicating unless you want to blow up. I did it. It fucking sucks. You do not want to feel the shame and the guilt and all of that yucky shit that comes with blowing up. And I did it unconsciously. I was drunk when I blew the fuck up. You do not want to do that. I was so arrogant. I was obnoxious. I was rude. I was belligerent. I was everything the opposite of like wisdom, teacher, spirit. I was the complete fucking opposite archetype. So that's another thing that archetypes do. So archetypes are positive and negative, and that is the polarity on this earth. We all have the ugly, whether we wear a mask or we take that fucking mask off. And alcohol will help you take the mask off because you've thought those thoughts. You've thought them, and now the band-aid is fucking off, and now you've just said them. So those are archetypes. So for example, if you're wise and you have a lot of knowledge, which I do because I work on myself, I create an environment of reading every single day, and usually 98% of the time, the knowledge that I have, I share freely. I'm very balanced with it, and I don't judge people with the knowledge. But you know, those few people that are so close to me that piss me off because they're lying to themselves, I start forming the resentment, and then the opposite archetype came out. And that is what you don't want to do. You do not want to go through that. So once you realize what the emotion behind however you acted was and you want to change it, the first thing you want to do is you want to create a timeline. So for me, what I do is like, I'll write resentment up top, and then I will put a straight line, and I'll map out a timeline. So for example, and it's 7 years apart. So every 7-year timeline. And what I start to do is I start to think of my life without too much judgment. And I start to think those first inklings of resentment. What year did they come from? I don't even think about like the time, although some people in your mind's eye, the time a picture of an age might pop up, but just write resentment, resentment, resentment on the timeline. And then what you can do, once you feel like you're done, you'll get a feeling, it's an inner knowing. You can go back onto the timeline and you can start writing the experiences if they come to you. They may not come to you, or they may just be like an open flood of emotions that come to you. So once you realize that, you're going to pinpoint exactly where the resentment started. Once you're in that zone, you're going to know who it started with. That is when you want to start transcending and surrendering resentment. That's going to be a different vlog on, like, you know, you've got to give forgiveness first to the person. And forgiveness is forgiveness is complete love and light. These people that I have fucking hurt, I have been sending nothing but absolute love, light, joy, peace, everything that I can that is high vibration towards them, and just cutting my karmic ties with them. I want the karma over, and it's all okay. And this also includes my husband, who passed away 14 years ago. I had to go back and start cutting the karmic ties. And the Ho'oponopono prayer is really good. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and you need to forgive the other person, ask for forgiveness back. That's why the Ho'oponopono prayer is excellent. And slowly with time, it goes away. It really does go away. As you work on yourself and your shadows, see how deep the shadows are? And you've got to take the mask off to understand the shadows. And for me, like, yeah, it sucked. I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be that person. It did really suck. But at the end of the day, I'm learning from the mistakes that I've made, and they will not happen again. That is for damn sure, because I'm acting like I'm changing my mindset, erasing the resentment, releasing it, surrendering it. And we can talk about that more if you like on a different vlog. I love you guys so much.